Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Taylor here, your fine art auctioneer, and do I have a special treat for you. All the way from New York City, communicating through the magic and technology of computers and cameras, and what a wonderful age we live in. And I think we're about to embark on something new. And I'm going to coin this phrase. I'm going to call it digital provenance. We're lucky enough to have the artist, an incredible man. We're going to talk about his background, we're going to talk about his resume, but now that I have him, I want him to tell us about his works of art and a little bit about how he creates this. Wayne, can you hear me now? Hello, sir.
Good evening, dear friend Ray.
Good evening, sir.
Hello from hot, blistery, sweaty New York City. It's wonderful to join you to present fun and fine arts to your viewers. Before I go any further, I would like the audience is already familiar with the beautiful part of the family. I'll put her face down here. There she is.
World-renowned artist Lisa Mee. Fantastic. We've had your artwork on the show. When do we get it back? I don't know. Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait to see you in October, Lisa.
I just want the people to know that it's true. Artists like me need a muse. If not, we get in a lot of trouble.
Fantastic.
Now, it is very important to become a friend with your paintings, all of you wonderful viewers. Leonardo da Vinci said, and I quote, "The greater the understanding, the greater the love." I want to go into that just a little bit. We get very comfortable and take for granted those close around us, our home, our artwork, and we pass by without noticing very much. Now, if you're going to get the richness and the fortification and thrill that comes from art, you must look at it. Okay? You must get familiar with it. You must become a friend with it. Okay? So I'm going to give a few hints here of how to do that. In other words, you must take a painting, a sculpture, whatever you have, sit by it or bring it down and put it close to you. Have a martini, have a glass of lemonade, a coffee, a tea, whatever. Be comfortable, maybe some music. And now you're going to focus and really look to comprehend, to analyze, if you will, the how the painting is made. In doing that, you become more acquainted as you would with a friend. Okay? And the more you know, the more you will understand, and the closer your friendship will be, and you will get the return of the beauty coming back at you 100-fold. So now we will talk, or I will talk, about the basic three elements in painting. That is the structure, we'll call it the form, the colors, and the rhythm. Now these are technical aspects of the how. They are not the what or why of painting. These elements must be woven together by the artist to cause an emotional impact on the viewer. The ultimate goal, as always, in my mind, is to create beauty. Not all artists believe that. Many want to cause disruption, upset, violate, and that's done for a particular purpose. That's to excite those particular emotions in the viewer. I find in the newspaper or the television so much upset that I've chosen at this time in my life to try to bring a calmness, a serenity, an equanimity and balance into my works. Okay? Now, I said to create beauty. That is a heavy question with a very involved answer. What is beauty? I'm only going to use one answer today, and that is beauty today, I'm talking about, is that which gives you pleasure. Now, all matter in this universe is contained energy, all objects. A painting is a living, breathing, pulsating organism with a life of its own. You must respect the works you have. They are unique, they are individual, they each have those energies and a life of their own. Now, every painting, every work of art is bursting with energy. The artist must stabilize and compose all those elements into a unified wholeness. In my own paintings, I strive to express not only what is observable, but the feelings that are initiated in my experience of the subject. I record not only my observations, but the emotional response that I'm having. Now, my paintings here this evening are subject matter in which you can identify, you can recognize, whereas pure abstraction concentrates on the emotions alone. Okay, dear friend Ray, leader, I'm with you.
I am with you too, and this is wonderful. And I'm getting such a feeling of how you create the art and how you make the art. It really is a gift for me and our viewers. As you know, I'm always ready to learn about art. Now, we've talked a little bit about theory and a little bit about construct. Tell me about this painting. I'm seeing almost, I've seen it on a pair of fancy cowboy boots, almost an ostrich skin technique here. I love these shadows. I love the dog. I love the coat and the color. I love everything about this painting. I have fallen in love with this painting. The jacket technique is phenomenal, and the colors as we go through. Please tell me everything. And Mr. Cameraman, lots of close-ups. This is complex. There's a lot going on in this.
I remember what you've said now 3 times. So if you would speak to Antonio and John Ward, I'm in agreement. We will give you a goodbye on this. Since you're so much in love with the painting, I think you should have it.
Well, we've already shown it to the clients. You can't play takeaway. We're going to auction this one off as soon as you tell me a little bit about the construct and the color. And just tell me. But I can't show a painting on TV and take it away from my viewers. That's just awful. But no, I love it. I love everything you do, and I'm just so impressed with this. Please. They don't want to hear about me. Let's talk about you.
Okay. Well, this, as you're aware of, you have presented just slightly under 500 paintings of mine out into the world. This is an unusual composition for me, as you know. I haven't been employing the figure very much recently, right? I'm with the landscape, seascapes, still lifes, florals. Montreal is about a 5-6 hour drive from New York City straight up, and a wonderful city, a delightful energy, wonderful restaurants, art galleries, warm, generous people, and it's a quick getaway without going all the way to Europe. Lisa and I can drive that in about 6 hours. So let's take this painting apart. Okay, we'll start with the form, the structure. Now the structure design is primarily vertical. You'll see the figures and the ship masts and the strong triangular shapes that are like arrowheads driving the eye north. There are about 14 triangles. There's a strong horizontal line across the base of the sails, left to right, right to left. So we have a strong horizontal line. That's the only horizontal in the painting. Okay. Now, there are these horizontal angles, if you will, of the dog and the shadows, right? Drifting off to the right side of the canvas.
I know, and I'm in love with it. Just your color balance throughout. But sorry to interrupt.
Your eye is superb as always. You pointed that out when you began this evening, and I'll come back to it in a moment, but you've hit on the key to this painting structurally. Okay. Now, the balance of this composition to keep the viewer's eye from just sailing upward and out of the frame are those 3 main figures. Okay, they are triangular in shape with intense color And on the trouser legs, you will see that diagonal shape again. Right? Um, Now that is there's an opening between the in the trousers on the three legs on the three pants. Yeah, you see the opening, the little white area.
Yes.
Okay, they capture you. Remember, I said there's always some little something that if you got rid of, you're in trouble. And they dance you across back and forth with each other, but they keep you held in the center, along with that little doggy. That doggy leaning off to the right. It's the only diagonal, truly diagonal, in this painting, right? Tilted off to the right,
I love it.
in echoing those three shadows, right? And so that repeats, and so we have again one long, strong horizontal. The ship sails pointing north, right? Then the diagonal three figures holding you as diamonds, right dead center, and the doggy and their shadows sliding off to the right. But those three figures keep you connected with those openings in their legs and the doggy almost dead center. You can't get, you don't, in other words, the shadow should carry you off to the right. It does, but you're pulled back by those figures every time. You don't slide off. The same thing, you should get lost at the north going off with the sails, but you're pulled back essentially by the tower in the dead center. You see there's a blue and white tower, and there's an inverted triangle there, right, pointing down, right, which brings your eye back down, and it brings you back to that third or fourth figure, dead center, the blue one. So
Right.
there's this diagonal going upside down, pointing down to that blue figure whose arms are outstretched. And your eye goes down those two arms back to those two main figures. And I just keep you locked in. In other words, I'm taking your eye on a road map here. It's subtle, right? But I'm explaining it now to the viewer who may end up owning this painting, who then now has a way of looking at it with more information than he would have before we talked about this.
Well, I think it's beautiful. Well, as you know, when you create an arrow or a chevron, you've
Yeah,
continued it up this yellow, but you've done a contrapoint of the shadow in the purple. And of course, these are opposites on the color wheel. And then we just get into just a fiesta of these diagonals up here. It's wonderful. And it's almost like they're sitting on an ocean of people in the lavenders, which again, it's all tied in here. And if we could do a close-up on these two jackets, I mean, just these two figures right here could be a composition unto itself. They're very complex. You've outdone yourself. Bravo, sir. Bravo.
one more thing before you go away with that
Yep.
little finger of yours.
Yep.
For the to know, go to that light tower in the center with that blue inversion. Now cover that blue with your finger, that blue, that inverted blue, cover it. See, folks watching at home, we've just lost it. Without that, you would just say right off the north with the mast taking you out. That
Right.
little triangle, all alone, dead center, drives you right back to the chevron figure that Ray mentioned, right?
Right.
And the two arms coming off that drive you back to the main figures. And so there is a structure, underlying, but all of this must be melted in, like good food. It's all integrated, right? So you see it as a wholeness. I'm letting you know, I'm giving you the recipe, so you can get warmer, closer with it. Now let's go with the color on this one because it's a little different. I didn't mention this on before, and I don't mention it often, but I should. That color, see, the canvas is flat, but color can suggest space. Okay. Now the example is red by itself seems to come out toward the viewer. The blue seems to sink into the canvas. So we've created like a background blue and a foreground red. However, they're both on the flat surface of the canvas. But optically, we, have done this with color. So color, which of course, Kokoschka was one of the great colorists, and I learned this firsthand from 19 on about how to create space, not with the Italian idea of perspective, and figures getting smaller in the distance, and chiaroscuro now is rounding the bays and so on, by just doing flat colors and making pulsations on the surface, which Matisse carried on with later. Okay. Now, okay, so we have the red sails now coming forward from the blue sky, which create the illusion of space. Now this painting is fairly static with the vertical ship masts and those triangular sails, but there's a movement of the legs and those shadows that break those static verticals and horizontals. Okay, Ray.
I'm sorry. I think everybody here, and I'm ready to have an auction on this one. So I love it, and I just thank you for your time. This has been so wonderful. So I think we're ready to have an auction. Let's get going. Let's have an auction.